Who has custody if there's no court order? Now, if you are a parent who has a child with another parent and you never married the other parent, you need to understand the laws that apply to your situation. Your child is considered a non-marital child in the state of Wisconsin, and the laws and rights that attach to the child and to the parents are different from marital children. I have been practicing for over 20 years. My name is Kyle Kaufman. I'm a custody lawyer in Wisconsin. I continue to find that parents, the community in general, school officials, child care providers, and law enforcement personnel are often confused about the status of custody and placement rights when no court order exists and when two parents have never been married. So I'm going to break down some of the laws here, and at the same time, I encourage you to meet with an attorney of your own. Become knowledgeable about the law and your situation, because you do need to know how it impacts you, your child, and the other parent. Under Wisconsin law, the mother of a non-marital child has all legal custody and all physical placement of the minor child. This is despite the father being named on the birth record, commonly known as a birth certificate. Being named on the birth certificate simply establishes legal fatherhood, but does not establish legal custody or physical placement for the father. There are many situations where a child is born outside of marriage, and the father signs a document. He acknowledges that he's the father, and his name is added to that birth record. And many times the parties fail to take any further steps until their relationship falls apart. And what you need to know is that you can request that a determination be made on legal custody and physical placement. And either parent, the mother or the father, can request that the court make that order. The order must be made at a hearing. And if you never request a hearing to establish these orders, then guess what? There's no legal order in place that establishes custody or placement for the father. So for the mother, she does not need a legal order to establish her custody and placement rights in these situations because it is granted to her by law. In Wisconsin, the statutes, as it relates to paternity actions, indicate that the mother shall have sole legal custody of the child until the court orders otherwise. In essence, what that means is that the mother has everything until the court makes a specific written order that establishes custody and placement for the father. To help understand this, I'd like you to consider some definitions from the Wisconsin statutes. Joint legal custody. That means the condition under which both parties share legal custody and neither party's legal custody rights are superior, except with respect to specified decisions as set forth by the court or the parties in the final judgment or order. What about legal custody? In Wisconsin, that means the right and responsibility of any person who is granted legal custody of the child to make major decisions concerning the child. Now, major decisions include, but are not limited to, decisions regarding consent to marry, consent to enter the military, consent to obtain a motor vehicle operator's license, authorization for non-emergency health care, and choice of school and religion. What about physical placement? Here's what it means. It's a condition under which a party has the right to have a child physically placed with that party and has the right and responsibility to make during that placement routine daily decisions regarding the child's care that are consistent with major decisions made by a person having legal custody. And you also need to know what sole custody means. Now, that's the condition under which one party has legal custody. In Wisconsin, sole custody and physical placement resides with the mother with non-marital children because the child's born outside of the marriage and there is no court order. So the father has not been granted by order any legal custody. Without being granted any legal custody, the father then cannot have joint legal custody or sole legal custody. And this is oftentimes confusing, not just for the parents, but for the community. So what can you do? Well, the best thing to do is to get a written order that specifically states the custody rights of each parent and the physical placement rights of each parent. And when you're establishing these written orders, you will also want to request financial orders, things like child support, and who pays for health insurance, uninsured health care costs. You can also ask for orders related to use of the child tax dependency exemption for the child. Without the written order, the father, who does not have any custody or physical placement, is at a disadvantage. And without the written order, the mother can also at times be considered at a disadvantage, because while the father doesn't have the ability to make custodial decisions or have physical placement unless the mother agrees to it, without a court order, the father's not required to pay child support. That has to be determined by a court order. So sometimes people ask, what about school records? What about medical records? And our statutes do specifically allow for a parent to review and obtain school records and medical records. Now, those statutes do not require that the parent have any custody or any physical placement orders to be able to obtain the school record or the medical records. There are some situations under Wisconsin statutes where a parent can be specifically denied access to school records and medical records. And our statutes state that a parent who has been specifically denied periods of physical placement under a court order may not have the rights of a parent with respect to access to the child's school records or medical records. I continue to see lots of litigation and confusion in this area of the law. I get calls almost every day from folks asking about these situations. The confusion is not just with the parents, it's with law enforcement, school officials, medical providers, and others. And when people are calling me and I'm speaking to them in my office, many times they come and they tell me about their situation, and it's clear to me that they have been given the wrong information from members of our community, and they don't know the correct legal right that they have. So beware the sources of your knowledge. Make sure that you talk to a custody lawyer about your case and your situations. At HKK Law Offices, we love to transform the lives of our clients at every stage of their life. There are many good lawyers out there who would love to help you, and I encourage you to seek help.